Now, in some cases, you might want to join two arrays together. So in this case, let's say we have an array that is 1, 2, and we have another array 3, 4, and we want to join them. You might think of using the plus operator or the concatenation operator. But unfortunately, JavaScript converts the arrays into strings, so the concatenation is not exactly what you would expect. So the result of this operation is actually just a string 1, 2, 3, 4. Not exactly what we wanted. We wanted the result to be an array that contains 1, 2, 3, and 4. How can you do that? For that, we need to use the concat method. Now the concat method can be used to join an array at the end of another array. So in this case, we have the same array 1, 2, and we're using the concat method of this array, and we're specifying the array to join as the parameter inside the concat method, 3, 4. And now the result is what we would expect, an array that has the two arrays concatenated together to form 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's how you can use the concat method to join two arrays together. Now the concat method can accept more than one parameter as well. So let's say we have a variable x which equals the array with strings a and b. And we have another variable, variable y, which equals uppercase a and uppercase b. And finally, we have a variable z, which equals 1, 2, 3. So in this case, we're using the concat method on the x array, which is the first array, and we're concatenating the arrays y and z to the x array. So what's the result? The result is a big array containing lowercase a, lowercase b, then uppercase a, uppercase b, and finally 1, 2, 3. So first we have the x array, which is lowercase a and lowercase b, which has been concatenated to the y array, uppercase a and uppercase b, and all of this has been concatenated into the z array 1, 2, and 3. And that's how you can add multiple arrays together using the concat method. Now sometimes you might want to search an array for a specific value and know whether that value exists inside the array or not. And you can use that using different methods. For example, let's say we have a variable x which equals an array. And this array contains 3, 6, 2, and minus 11. So 4 different numbers as 4 elements. Now arrays have an includes method, which can be used to search for a specific value inside the array. So x.include6 tells JavaScript to search for the value 6 inside the x array, and if it finds it, it'll return true. So of course, obviously we do have the x value inside the array, so x.include6 returns true. However, we don't have 5 inside the array, so x.includes5 returns false. And that's how you can use the includes method in order to search for a specific value inside the array and find out whether it exists inside the array or not. Now sometimes you might want to sort a certain array, and JavaScript has methods available for that. So for this example, let's redefine our previous array again. Var x equals 3, 6, 2, minus 11. Now you can use the sort method in order to sort all the values inside the array from the smallest to the biggest. So x.sort gives us the array what starts with minus 11, then 2, then 3, then 6. So it starts with the smallest element first, which is minus 11, then 2, then 3, then 6. So it sorts the array in an ascending manner. And arrays also have a reverse method. So x.reverse can be used to reverse all the elements inside the array. So you can use the reverse method on any array to flip the position of all the elements inside it, which means the first element will become the last one, the second element will become the one before last one, and so on. So in this case, the x array is currently sorted as minus 11, 2, 3, and 6. And by using the reverse method, it reverses the order of the elements. So it starts from 6, 3, 2, and minus 11. Now if you use the sort method first and then the reverse method, you can actually reverse sort the array. So starting from the largest number and going on to the smallest number. Otherwise, the reverse method will just reverse the position of all the elements inside the array. Now the sort method not only works on numbers, it works on string-based values as well. So for example, let's define another array var y equals tomato, carrot, and spinach. Now we have an array with 3 strings, but they're not sorted in any specific way. Now we can use the y.sort method to sort the specific array from A to Z. And the result is first we have carrot, then we have spinach, and then we have tomato. So you can use the sort method on string-based values as well, and it will be sorted from A to Z in an ascending order. Now what if you have multiple types of values inside an array? So in this case we have another variable z, which equals an array uppercase A, then true, then 2, lowercase a, and false. So what will happen if we use the sort method on this array? So as you can see, the result is 2, uppercase A, lowercase a, false, and then true. So JavaScript's internal sorting algorithm, when it's presented with different types of values, will always sort numbers first. So it'll start from 0, which is the smallest, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And after that, it'll start with strings, starting with uppercase strings first. So it'll go from uppercase A to uppercase Z and every string that starts with it. Then it'll go from lowercase a to lowercase z. And finally, false and true will be at the very end of the sorted array. And that's how JavaScript treats different data types in its sorting algorithm. Now, in some cases, you might want to find the smallest or the largest number inside an array. So let's say we have an array var x, which equals 3, 6, 2, and minus 11. We already saw this array in previous examples. Now, if we want to find the minimum value inside this array, which means the smallest value of all the values inside the array, then you might think of using the math.min method. You might think that you can use the math.min method. So you might type in math.min and then x as the array inside the parentheses. Unfortunately, it returns nan, so it's not a number. So why is it like that? I mean, we saw the math.min method at work in previous modules, right? Where we inputted different numbers and it correctly told us what's the smallest value. So why isn't it working now? Well, if you go back to that module and rewatch the video, you'll see that we actually use math.min method in a different syntax. This is how we actually use the math.min method. Inside the math.min method, we define the list of values as separate parameters inside the method separated by a comma. So in this case, we type in it as 3, 6, 12, minus 11. And we put this all inside parentheses inside the min method as different parameter values. And that correctly returns the smallest number, which is the negative minus 11. However, in the second example, where we are using math.min and then in parentheses x, we're actually passing the whole array as a single parameter value inside the min method. But the min method doesn't work that way. The min method needs all the values separated by a comma as different parameters. But when you type in math.min and then x inside the parentheses, you're just giving it one parameter value, the array itself. But the math.min function doesn't accept an array. It accepts a list of values as separate parameters. That's why math.min and then x doesn't work. It returns a nan, because the operation is invalid. In this case, if you want to find out the smallest number out of the list, you need to input them as different parameters inside the math.min method. And that works exactly how it's expected. However, that's not very useful. Like, we might have an array and we might want to find the smallest value inside the array. But if the array is too big, we might not be able to input the different elements as separate parameters for the math.min function. And in some cases, we might not even know exactly what values an array contains. So how can we solve this? For this problem, JavaScript offers the spreader operator. Now the spreader operator is just 3 dots or period symbols side by side. And you can use that in a parameter to convert an array or spread an array into parameter values. So math.min ... x gives us the correct result, which is minus 11. Basically, x takes the array and spreads all the different elements out as separate parameters for that method. So math.min x is actually equivalent to the previous statement, where we're inputting the list of values as separate parameters. So you can kind of think of it as essentially removing the square brackets from the start and end of the array. And that's how you can use the spreader operator to input an array as a value in a method that usually accepts separate parameters for different values. And of course, the max method works as expected with the spreader operator as well. So math.max just x would give nan, but x spreads the array into 3, 6, 2, -11, and it gives us the largest value, which is 6. And that's how you can use the spreader operator with arrays in order to spread an array into different parameter values for a specific method that requires it.